Hello everybody, welcome to Red Tool House. Have you ever heard the phrase, no good deed goes unpunished? Well, I'm kind of marinating in that right now. It's really not a big deal, but it's something I think worth talking about. So about 5 years ago, I actually had the opportunity to purchase 2.5 acres adjoining my land for $1,500. And I passed on it. And I actually did a video about that where I was standing in this exact spot with that parcel behind me talking about why I was going to pass on it. I can link to it here so you can see a 5 year younger and slimmer version of me. Although I don't know that I was slimmer. Anyway, so guess what? Now 5 years later, I've purchased this piece of land and it cost me 60% more. Well, it actually cost me $2,500 instead of $1,500. So why is that? Well, first let's look back 5 years ago as the 3 reasons why I passed on this property, because I know you guys aren't going to go back and watch the video. It's no big deal. So it's really 3 simple reasons. The first reason was it's 2.5 acres on the other side of the county road. You guys are standing on the county road and my farm is right over there. I have a small little triangle parcel of property here on this side that I really haven't done much with in the 23 years I've owned it. So it was just one of those things like 100 acres over here, I got more to worry about on that side than coming across the county road and doing anything else. So it really didn't seem to be that important. The second reason is because of all the gas well activity back over the decades that have happened in this valley, in this area, there is a gas company, a utility right of way. Well, it's not, you can't call it a utility easement because that leads you to believe there's a pipeline or electric line or something. It's basically just a right of way for the gas company to access a well several parcels back. That was the way they could drive back there to do work on it. So that right of way is what was in question. It's like, well, I don't want to mess with that because it kind of just goes right through the center of that 2.5 acres and could pose a problem. But the third reason, and the biggest reason, was this tract of land sits right in front of my neighbor's property, and their house further up the mountain here kind of comes down close to the edge of this parcel. I thought, well, if anyone's going to buy this parcel, it would make sense for them to buy it because it's right in their front yard. And that was really the main reason why I decided to pass. In fact, I approached that neighbor and said, hey, this land's for sale, simply $1,500. If you don't buy it, I'm going to buy it, but you should have first refusal on it. And they appreciated that and agreed, and yep, here we go. So at that point, I assumed that the ball was rolling and the purchase was taking place and my neighbor was going to end up with this parcel and everything would be right in the world. But you know what they say when you make an assumption. 5 years later now, it appears that that transaction did not happen, actually. And I was contacted by a third party to say, hey, I would like to sell this 2.5 acres you have adjoining you. Are you interested? And I was like, I don't know of a 2.5 acres adjoining me that isn't already tied up in the neighbors. And he's like, well, no, it's this piece. I'm like, oh, okay. So light bulb came off. So not only did my neighbor not purchase the land, he didn't notify me to let me know that he was passing on it, which, again, is what it is. I'll just leave it at that. So what happened 5 years ago when the neighbor didn't opt in to purchase, the original property owner just said, well, I'm just going to let it go for taxes, stop paying property tax on it. And that cycle happened. And in 2021, this third party person sees that come up on the tax auctions. And of course, shame on me for not keeping an eye on that. Saw those 2.5 acres for taxes, made the purchase, did everything he needed to do, and acquired that property. Now he let it set fallow for 2 years, which leads us to the present, last month when I received that message about, hey, I've decided not to do anything with this land, are you interested? So by passing on that land 5 years ago, I get to delay the ownership of that land and buy it for 60% more. So kind of leaves a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth, but when you look at the grand scheme of things, 2.5 acres for $2,500, that's still $1,000 an acre, so that's okay. So what does the land look like? Well, let's take a look at these maps here and kind of give you perspective, because obviously standing in this thick jungle really doesn't give you any visuals. So I'm going to show you my land with my triangle, And then here's the adjacent piece that connects. So that's 2.5 acres connecting to this triangle, which is, I think, about an acre or just a cat's whisker under. So you can see how the two of those, when they blend together, actually turns into a nice parcel of land. Less than 4 acres, but it's a nice parcel. A lot of frontage along the county road. Has a nice southwest facing slope. Not direct south, but enough southwest that it can get all the benefits of that. The slope is decent. It's not super steep, but it's not flat either. But it's definitely stuff that's workable. Has quite a few benches. Just of course has a lot of coverage of reforestation on it. So you can see here on the map, these are the roads or right-of-ways, or I don't even know how to, it's tough to call it a road because it's everything I can get through with my side-by-side, and most of the places it's grown up so much that I can't even get through it with that. So where I'm standing right now is actually the old house seat. There was, I think, a mobile home here. You guys are standing on a piece of concrete that I think was a parking spot. And I don't know if you can see in the camera behind, but there's power lines that go right there because the county road's right here. So there's natural gas that's buried, residential service in the ditch, so there'd be ability to hook up to natural gas, easy power drop. There is no city water, county water out here anyway, so it would have to be a well or rain catchment. And supposedly, the guy that set the trailer in here, when I bought this property 23 years ago, all this was already vacated, but he said he put a septic tank in, but I've never been able to find it. And he also said there was a well, but I haven't seen any record of that I could find. So I don't know if there's a well hidden here somewhere. So you may be asking, well, Troy, what's your plan with the land? And that's a really good question. So the first thing we're going to do is just get some access to it so we can get up here. I can leave this side by side on the property, not here on the edge by the county road, and be able to walk it, spend some more time in. And of course, open up those road right-of-ways a little bit more so I can get the tractor in here and bring in some bigger equipment. But right now I'm going to invite you to come with me, and we're going to poke a hole right here. There's some autumn olive, there's some holly, there's some sycamore, there's some little cedar, there's a really nice oak, and I'm going to stay away from that oak for now. And we're just going to make enough of a clearing to be able to get the side-by-side back there easily. I've been through there already, but without having to ride down a bunch of saplings and tear stuff up. So come with me, and let's poke a hole in this canopy real quick. All right, so that opened up nicely. My big head out of the way. That opened up nicely, lets me get all the way up here, which is right on the edge of my original property line of the triangle and the new parcel. And that's the watershed that separates the two parcels. And this is the new property. So you can see this road goes on. I've got a pretty wicked red oak snag here that death on a stick. So we'll probably get the tractor in to cut that, release it a little bit of time, and just get it to sit down. Look at that autumn olive. I think it's ridiculous. Got a 12-inch diameter trunk. See, this level's off decent. This is the northernmost portion. So I'm now at the northwest corner, or the most northern corner. And here's the neighbor's property. You can see he's got a cable stretched down that watershed. The property line follows that watershed back down to the county road. And then this corner here, the sugar maple, and you can see this huge white oak. That's most likely a boundary tree. It's got a ton of barbed wire in the dead center of it. That's usually indicative of that being the corner. So it kind of goes down and has that little chevron shape. So everything this way is the parcel. So I think it has some potential. You can see there's a lot of sky. I mean, this is the east-west movement of the sun. My house is straight that way, so there's a close proximity there. And then even our neighbor's house is in that clearing there, so that's how close they are to this section. So here's the northeasternmost corner. There's a pipe set right there. And of course, tons of barbed wire coming together. That's always a good sign. And my four-wheeler's parked down there. So my triangle goes this way, and then this is the line of the parcel. So it's kind of like this weird pie shape, and then this 2.5 acre parcel shape. So it includes everything that way. And the clearing behind me, that's my neighbor's garden right there, just in the tree line. Yeah, that's smart. Stand under the Widowmaker to get your shot. This is what we call a true closing. So you may be wondering, so what are we going to do with the land? I think right now, I'm just going to let it sit. Like I said, may clean up the road so I can just get back here, look around, get a feel for it, get a better lay of the land. Definitely be talking with the courthouse about some easements and right-of-ways and all that type of stuff. See what we can get some more details on. Probably clean up a little bit of the garbage that we have over here on this corner. And other than that, not do much. I've got some ideas, but I'm not ready to voice those yet. Obviously, we've got plenty of projects going on right now. Building our sawmill shed. We've got to start foundation work on the retreat buildings. Still working on an off-grid cabin up at camp. In fact, we've got a video coming up soon of some additional work we're doing there. So, do I really need another project? So this may sit for a bit. My boys are at the age where they may have interest in it. So if they have interest and want to be close to mom and dad, then that could be an option as well. But I want you all to throw out some ideas. Comment below and let me know what you think I should do with this newly acquired 2.5 acres as it joins up against my existing acre. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. Well, I appreciate everybody watching. I pray y'all have a great week. Take care.